Well, I realized that I didn't have any speaker jacks installed, and I really don't like powering up an amp without having dummy loads on the outputs. Even if I don't have any input signal, you just never know if the amplifier is going to have some kind of an oscillation problem. And if that happens and you have no dummy loads on the output transformers, really bad things can happen to your output transformers. They can arc, and once that happens, they're toast. So, just as a rule of thumb, never operate a tube amplifier without some sort of speaker or dummy load across the output terminals. And given we hadn't even wired up the output terminals, decided to go ahead and do that before we power this thing up. And I'll show you in a minute. There's a couple other things that I overlooked that we still got to do before we can power this thing up. But first of all, I was going to show you installing speaker jacks and how I do it. I use these. These are a little bit larger than the normal size speaker jacks. I get these off eBay. Again, if you want a part number and a web link of where they're at, sorry, you're going to have to go find them yourself. I don't have that information. Anyway, first thing you need to do is disassemble the speaker jack. Take that off. This nut comes off the back, and this nut is directional. It has a lip on the inside of it. It goes, this direction goes towards the jack. See, the other side looks like that. So make sure when you're soldering this thing together that you put the nut on the right direction. So as we're taking this apart, I'm going to put the nut on. There are these two plastic washers. They go on. Then the wire comes through the hole. Then we have this little plastic, little T-hat shaped thing. It goes on next. And then last is this little piece, which is also directional. Let me zoom in again. On this side, it's got a deep recess. On that side, it's got a shallow one. The shallow recess goes towards the chassis, like that. The next thing I've learned to do is, I'm not sure what this coating is that they put on these, but it doesn't solder very well. So I always get my Dremel tool with a little bit like that, and grind off that little gold plating that's on there so that the solder will stick to it well. So let's go ahead and do that and get this where it's ready to solder. Now there's different kinds of these output jacks. Some of them have little metal tabs that bolt on that are a lot easier to assemble. And you just solder the wire onto the little tab and then you bolt it all together. And there's small ones and big ones, and I'm just showing you how to install the ones that I use. I like these because you're soldering the wire directly onto the actual terminal itself, and there's no like mechanical connection that can get corroded. So it's got this little U-shaped trough that holds the solder, and I come in like this and doesn't take a lot. You just knock off the plating and get down to the brass. And then I get some rosin soldering flux. And put a little bit down in there where we're going to be soldering. So the next thing you want to do is you want to cut this wire as short as you think you can and still solder it without melting this plastic. And it's usually, I would say, about finger width, maybe a little more. Depends on your comfort level. I'm going to try about right there. I mean, all that happens if you put extra is then you just have more excess wire inside the amplifier, which, you know, really doesn't, I don't think hurts anything, but it just doesn't look as good. So then we strip off a little bit of the wire, and you can see there's not a lot sticking out here. The next thing we want to do is, let me get my soldering iron warming up. And then as soon as this thing gets warmed up, we're going to tin this lead, but we also want to come up with a way of holding this while we solder it. And I've had pretty good luck getting some boards, and there we go. That's even better like that. I mean, it helps because it's got a flat here that helps keep it from rolling around while you're trying to solder it. And then all we do at this point is get the iron nice and clean, get some fresh solder on there. We hold this against there and just wait. We're going to have to get this thing pretty hot because you got to heat up this whole little end here. And you want to make sure that the solder is actually melting to the surface of the stud and isn't just like melting onto the wire, so it gets a really good connection. And then once you see it melting into the actual stud itself, and you've got it hot enough where the solder will melt to it, go ahead and just roll some solder in it. And then hold it and let the solder cool off and set. And that one actually went pretty smooth. Sometimes I've had them where you're doing that, you can see like that when it's trying to fall off. It doesn't hurt to have a little pair of pliers handy. If that does happen, where you can pick it up and set it back up there. And then, because once you get the solder melted under this metal, it doesn't take as much to like get it melted back again. The other thing I do is I get a paper towel with some water on it and cool the thing off. Get it on the other side. Pretty much done with that. Just hold the paper towel on it with the water. And flip it over. Get the other side. And that just gets this cooled off enough where you can touch it with your hand. And once you can, that's cooled off now, where it's not going to melt this plastic. Put that on, put that on. Then you come on the inside and click on the, let's see if I can, on the inside you have the nut and these washers. So when you shove this part through, you slide those two little plastic washers up, and then you screw the nut up. And you're all done. And then the last thing you do is you get something like this Allen wrench to keep it from turning. Then you get a wrench on the inside and you tighten that nut up. And you want to get these fairly tight because you're going to be screwing these on and off, and there's nothing to keep this from spinning in the hole, other than the friction that it's tightened up with. And there we go. And they just, those screw on. And you can either put a banana thing in the end, or you can stick a wire through the side and tighten it down. And these are, I like these big ones because the hole's nice and fat. You can put a big wire in them and not worry about it. So that's how I install these, I consider really nice speaker jacks. Like I said, there's some really cheap ones that have, and a little bit later in the video, I've got a couple of the cheap ones, and I'll show you what those look like. And they work. Most of the made in China amps, I mean, even some of the more expensive, like the A50 has these little, I consider them kind of cheap ones, but they work. But I think these are just a lot nicer, and you don't have to worry about the mechanical connection corroding over time. And with the wire directly soldered onto the stud, you know it's getting a good connection. So let me turn the amp around. Okay, the other thing I want to show you too is the negative or the common terminal of the output transformer, which is the white lead on these transformers, needs to be grounded. Now there's a couple of reasons for that. The main one though is safety. And the reason that it's a safety thing is if the output transformer shorts internally, you want this to be grounded so that it'll blow the fuse and not be putting high voltage to your speakers or to the speaker leads. So I've seen people daisy chain these together. I think it's a really bad idea. And I've also seen people like run them over to this little ground because it's close. I think that's a really bad idea. I run individual wires all the way back over to the star ground point with these. And so I've got these two negative wires coming here. I put a little piece of heat shrink tubing on it right there. And we're going to solder that into the star ground point right here. So let me go ahead and do that. Before I heat up the star ground point, I'm going to put a little bit, I'm going to tin these two leads a little bit so they have some solder on them. And I know these wires are probably, they're sold as being pre-tinned, but it doesn't hurt anything to like pre-warm them up and get a little solder on them. And then we're going to heat up this terminal. And once I get those in, I'm going to go ahead and come back and add just a little solder to make sure we got a good connection. And as you can see, that's totally filled up that terminal strip. And that's why I made this little bus here that had a couple of terminals along the way, because I knew that some of these were going to get filled up pretty quickly with like this big fat wire and these speaker grounds. We don't have a lot of ground points left. We are going to have a ground point here with the tag strip that's got the RC decoupling network that feeds the driver tubes, and we're also going to have a couple of tag strips here that are going to have like the cathode grounds and the RCA input grounds and the grid leak resistor grounds and all that. So we're going to be running a ground from around in here up over, and then another ground from here and over. So we got another terminal thing here that's all ready to go. But I did neglect to hook up the B plus to the output transformers, which we would have never got any power to our output tube. So we need to do that as well. So I think I'm just going to lay these out like this and just go directly from the output transformers up to the B plus. And I'm going to cut this off right there. Come here and strip these two wires back. Like this. And these two are going to come through here. I'm going to twist these up a little bit and then solder these in place to this tag strap point. And then we'll have everything in place to power the amp up and get some current running through the output tubes and see what our B plus is going to be with this transformer. Like I said, I used that, I think it was a 290 DAX with my last build. That was the laydown style transformer. And I can't remember the exact model number of this one. Let me look up this transformer while this is cooling. The one I'm using this time is a 273BX, which is the US volt one. And there's a 373BX, which is the 110 or 120 240 volt version. So, kind of an unknown what our voltage is going to be. So now we've got our B plus to the output transformers. We got all of our speaker terminals hooked up. We got the negatives grounded. We got the ground going over here to the output tube ground terminal strip. We got the plates powered up. We got the ultralinear taps done. Oh, the other thing I did too, let me zoom in here. I did change how I did the grid stopper on this output tube. Originally I had it soldered on the underside and it was going down and around and it just looked messy. So I decided to got another resistor and I soldered it to the top of this and then went straight across to this pin, and this is now where our signal is going to connect to the output tubes from the driver tubes. So I think while we crisscross these two, I think it made the rest of the wiring a lot more symmetrical, and I think that's going to work really well. One more little thing that I wanted to do is, this was the capacitor for my little bridge rectifier for the LED, and it was just kind of, this is still like wobbling around a little bit, and while I'm sure it's fine, like let me zoom in here, like I'm sure this is fine, but that's still like kind of loose. So I'm going to come in here with a hot glue gun and just put a glob of hot glue under that capacitor like that. And well, I'm not a super big fan of like hot gluing really important stuff down. This is not super important, and now that doesn't wobble around anymore. So just a little thing you might want to do to yours if you're building it just like this is just put a little dab of hot glue or some kind of glue under there. So a little bit of silicone glue would work too. Let it dry. So anyway, we're ready to power this thing up. Let me jump on that and we'll check some voltages and see if we've got the output tube section of the amp finished. So I hope you're enjoying this series. If you are, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. And I'll see you soon for more 6SQ7 fun. Have a great day.